Hello, I'm Tunde Adebimpe, and I'm at Amoeba Records, the fantastic Amoeba Records, and this is What's in My Bag. What's in my bag? What's in my bag? First thing I would like to show, I'm going to go down the stack, is a cassette of Nirvana's Bleach. It's put out on Sub Pop in, I want to say, what year was this, 1989.
Sincerity, act out of loyalty, defend your free country, wish away from pain, hand on the bottom, raise a safe little family, surrealistic fantasy, flamboyant.
I heard it in high school. A friend had given it to me. A friend who was kind of a dangerous goth was really into Skinny Puppy and early Nine Inch Nails, and I was like, I don't know anything about that. It's a little scary to me. And he said, okay, well, maybe this is more your speed. And it was more my speed. I got to blast it loud in a tape player, and it added to me and my weird friends' little arsenal of stuff that we liked. And even though we were dorks, we knew we were cooler than everybody else. So thank you, Bleach, and everything it led to. And this is soundtrack to David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. To me, one of the greatest movies. People say of all time, but it's my lifetime. I especially love the version of crying on here, Llorando. It's a Spanish version. The singer's name, Rebecca Del Rio, killed it. And no shade to Roy Orbison, but thank you, Roy Orbison, for writing this song. Someone made a little bit better. Gonna go into the books. This is another David Lynch thing. I got David Lynch on my heart and mind.
This is like some kind of miracle, a phenomenon.
The greatest. I think he was easily the greatest.
I am very interested in sound. Now I have my own studio, and the primary purpose of it was to be able to experiment.
So this is a biography that I have not read yet called Room to Dream, and I look forward to getting into that.
The boys wanted me to wish you peace and happiness.
It's 577 pages long, and I'm here for it.
Everybody is a detective. The unknown is a magnet, and you can learn many, many things by going down in there.
This is The Essential Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson. He's also one of the greatest cartoonists of my lifetime. I would say of all time, because I know a lot of cartoonists. And it's great. The crazy thing to me now is that a lot of people don't really know about Calvin and Hobbes. A lot of kids don't know about Calvin and Hobbes. I started reading Calvin and Hobbes with my daughter, who is 8, and she loves it. Makes me feel like I did something right. The two things I love about Bill Watterson are that, number one, he never merchandised Calvin and Hobbes, so they would only exist in comic strip form. Never made any stuffed animals, never made any stickers. All those stickers you see of Calvin like pissing on stuff, being like bad boy, it's not from him. And I don't even think he sued those people. I think he was just like, whatever, that's fine. Another mark of how great he was. And he did Calvin and Hobbes for 10 years, and then he stopped. That's it. Never again. This is what it is. And I think a lot of people could learn from that lesson. We were just talking about Jim Davis.
Without the tabby, people don't know my name, so I carry the American Express card, and wherever I go, folks treat me like a fat cat.
Fat chance.
I think it's fine. All shade to Jim Davis. I, at one point, was very much convinced that I was going to be a cartoonist and comic strip artist, so I followed the Comics Journal, and I was just like, phew, the dirt on all these cartoonists. There was so much hate. I'm going to shout Bill Watterson out as the Kendrick of comics. Jim Davis was exactly like Drake. Garfield is like atoms in the air. You see Garfield, and you're like, I don't really care. Okay, so moving on to vinyl. The original soundtrack recording to A Boy Named Charlie Brown by the Vince Guaraldi Trio. Most people know the Charlie Brown theme. I'm going to say most people, maybe most people don't. You would recognize the Charlie Brown theme, which is actually called Linus and Lucy. And it's just beautiful. I feel like even if it weren't attached to such a great comic and property. See, now here's an example also, not to get too much into this like comic cartoonist hate thing. If you're going to merchandise your stuff, do it right, you know?
Why does this tiny book outsell all other nonfiction in the United States?
I feel like maybe it's just that Garfield sucks.
Stuff, gadgets, toys, greed, avarice. I love it.
It was too much. He just made too much. The Garfield books, the movies, which are just like, I saw the most recent movie. I don't know. Jeff Davis wants to come find me. You know, I'm in East Hollywood. Roll up. But when I see a Snoopy doll or any Peanuts memorabilia, I always get a very warm feeling. Whereas, you know, I'm using Garfield as the example. I met someone who grew up reading Garfield, but they pronounced it Garfield. So often that I thought they were kidding or just like messing with me, but they were just like, no, Garfield. It's like, are you a friend of Garfield? What do you do with someone like that? You just have to, we're not going to be friends. Here is Richard D. James' album by Aphex Twin. One of my favorite electronic records. And I was actually introduced to this record and a lot of electronic music by my friend Daniel Kessler, who's in Interpol. We were in school together and he was like, what kind of stuff are you into? And we talked about music. He's like, have you ever heard this? You ever into electronic music? And I was like Buddha Bar sort of stuff? And he's like, no, you gotta give this a listen. And ever since, you know, I've been a very big Aphex fan. Now we have Dock at the Radar Station by Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band.
She puts her head into the fire, makes her red hot perspire. She's a hothead.
Don Van Vliet, Captain Beefheart, also a great painter, and I love musicians who make art as well. This record is very important for me as somebody who was just kind of starting to write songs and write lyrics especially.
Gnats fuck my ears and nostrils, hit my brain like holes, in numb to nothing, wings stuck on liquid bones.
I would always get kind of stuck up on lyrics and be like, does this make any sense? Does it make any sense? And hearing this record made me realize, like, if it makes sense to you, it's probably good enough. Also, it doesn't have to even make sense to you as long as it feels good and feels right. So I'm always down for this gravelly voice.
Don't you wish you never met Dirty Blue Jean?
This is the Spirited Away original soundtrack. This is one of my favorite movies. I love how weird and sensitive and beautiful it is. This is entirely in Japanese. If there's any way someone can edit in the name of the composer, there it is. Fantastic. So this is Miles Davis's Bitches Brew. I love this record, but not even more, but on the same level, I love the record Art. There's an artist named Maddie Kralwine, I always get it kind of messed up, who's just kind of a real visionary artist who has a deep spiritual nature to his work, and also the technique is like kind of insane. So those two together equals awesomeness. Olatunji, drums of passion, and Olatunji's first name is Babatunde, which is my first name, which was a real edifying thing when I found this. He is a legendary Nigerian Yoruba drummer. Just mad drumming all over the place. And I absolutely love this. It's something that often I can leave on in the background and do stuff like clean the apartment or draw. And no one around me is into that because it's pretty loud, but it soothes my soul. This, I don't know, I think this is called Room O, The Sound of Durban, which is in South Africa. I don't know what this is, but it looks like a Sharpie drawing of a cat. Or maybe there's a bird in the middle of the cat. There's sunglasses in there. The line is nice and thick, and it's not hesitant. I don't know what this is, but they got me. They totally got me. I need to know what's in here. I'm gonna give it a try. And just not to keep harping on this, if Garfield had looked like this, I'd be so down. This record, this is the last record that I have, is a record called Charlie by the band Melt Banana. I fell in love with Melt Banana sometime in the late 90s when a friend of mine took me to a show and they were opening for Mike Patton. I think there were only 3 members, but they just came out and blasted these really minute-long songs that were so loud and rockin' and just kind of these sonic assaults, and it would be a minute of chaos, and then someone stepped to the mic and say, "Thank you. This next song is called Charlie," and they'd back up, and it was another kind of like punch, 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 punch. I got a chance to meet them after, and they were just the coolest and the sweetest. And just to kind of reiterate how short the songs are, there's 14 songs on here. It's not a double album. It's because they're all like a minute long and fantastic. And that's a great cover too. I've never seen it that big.
What is your shirt?
Oh, this is we can even talk about it. It says Dilla Villainy. And it is a take on the Raymond Pettibone Sonic Youth Goo record cover. But it's Dilla, who I love, and it's Doom, who I love.
Fill a billion 10K bills in this pillar. Villain when it gets realer, split the skrilla with Dilla. Mix. Do a deal for kicks and get rich quick. It
was created by DJ Kutma, who I found out about through Dublab and whose stuff I love. He put this out, I think, during the pandemic, and I saw it, and I was like, that's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
The last thing I have here is, you guys see those internet things where people turn around with their paintings? My slow reveal. I couldn't find the soundtrack for this, so I'm hoping to leave with a poster of Eraserhead, Jack Nance's beautiful face. Easily one of my favorite movies. I saw it at the Vista with my friends Barney Clay and Nick Zinner on film. The sound was insane.
Everybody beneath a lot of times a calm exterior is, the subconscious, right?
It's a very cool reset for the 3 of us, just being like, oh, like that. You can do it like that. It's always a wonderful thing when an artist can do that for you.
You fall in love with ideas, and you get fired up, and you go and you try to translate those ideas into cinema. And it's a beautiful, beautiful journey.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
That was really great.
That's what's in my bag. Excuse me, what's in my crate.
Yes.
God knows you're the worst thing I've ever loved.
Amoeba.